contrary to what people might think of Thomas Hardy, this is actually quite a light story, and it's really a romantic comedy, if anything.
It's a story of our time. It has a happy ending that follow your heart and happiness will come to you.
Well, how could you not play somebody called Fancy Day? It doesn't really matter what you're going to be doing, does it?
Thomas Hardy was a very important writer. In some ways, he's to blame for me being a writer, I think. And it was a huge pleasure and a privilege to rummage around in his mind for a couple of months.
He thought this was a very slight novel compared to the subsequent novels that he'd written. But then, because he'd had so much success, at the beginning of the 20th century, they republished it, or they asked him to look at it again, which he did. And he suddenly realised that what he'd written was a sort of rural idyll about a time that had passed that no longer existed in Britain. Rural life that had been now sort of devastated by the Industrial Revolution.
And I think if he'd been around now, he'd have been a wonderful film writer, because he told such big dramas in such confined rural spaces. It was like all life came into a Dorset village, which makes him very attractive as a writer, I think.
What can I do for you, Choir?
What we were thinking was the choir ought to be given a bit more time and not be done away with until next Christmas.
Next Christmas?
If we fell glorious with a bit of a flourish, we would have a respectable end and not dwindle away at some nameless, paltry second Sunday after such and such.
When we introduce the harmonium into the church, it will not be that fiddles were bad, but that a harmonium was better.
Next Christmas, then?
No, that's far too late for me. You will have a few weeks' grace before Miss Day is ready, and then the change will be made. And that is an end to the matter.
The book is largely from Dick Dewey's point of view, and there is an inevitability about the fact that he will marry Fancy Day. The other suitors, Mr. Shiner and Parson Maybold, are lesser characters. Maybold actually only professes his love right at the end of the novel.
So what I did was I borrowed a sort of narrative structure from Far From the Madding Crowd, which had a female character, Bathsheba Everdeen, coming into a small community, and the three suitors who were all vying for her love and affections. So that's what I did with Under the Greenwood Tree. I made Fancy Day the centre and the central character, with these three men, satellites around her.
Long way from the bright lights of Exeter, Miss Day.
Yes.
They're simple people, but kind. And generous. Well, I think we've put in an appearance, which is the main thing. Shall I accompany you home, Miss Day?
It's my dance, I believe, Miss Day.
Mr. Shine.
I was just about to escort Miss Day home.
Nonsense, the night is young. You get off, Maybold. I'll escort the lady home. I'll be happy to walk Miss Day home. I said I'd do it, young Dewey, and I shall. Come, Miss Day, and you try not to step on my feet.
Fancy Day has been sent off to be educated by her father. And she comes back to the village of Mellstock, where she grew up. And she becomes the teacher, the school teacher in this village.
She's a very interesting character, very modern, contemporary character in some ways. And you could see that she was squeezed socially between aspirations and economic aspirations and where her heart wanted to take her.
It seemed to Ashley, and indeed to us, a good idea to put Fancy Day at the centre and have three suitors of equal merit circling her. Mr. Shiner, who's got lots of money, Parson Maybold, who flatters her intelligence, and then the young, lusty Dick Dewey, this magnificent specimen of manhood.
Do you know what I said to Mr. Shiner's offer of marriage?
I may have heard something.
And what do you think about that, Mr. Dewey?
I have no opinion of my betters, miss. Are you going to give me my shirt, Miss Day?
I haven't decided yet.
That's what I think. This is what I think.
Well, I read the script and it's lovely. And I've tended in the past to do quite gloomy costume dramas. You know, Our Mutual Friend is very dark and very, and this is so lovely, and quite often it's very funny, and it's very light and sort of quite chocolate boxy actually, and it's very, very romantic. So I liked all that about it.
What are you doing, Dick Dewey?
Is everything all right, Miss Day?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Maybold. It's just... I'll be there shortly.
Just to carry a son all covered in muck, not fit to set before a parson and a rich man.
Don't you dare make a scene here.
I won't dream of doing such a thing, Miss Day. For a while, I was blinded by your beauty, but I now see you for what you are.
And what, pray, is that?
I would marry the lowliest maid in the county if I loved her. Nor money, nor learning, nor opinion of others would force me from loving her.
Dick,
Goodbye, Miss Day. I hope you find what you're looking for.
He is the local chorister's son, and he's a tranter, or a carrier. And they used to make their living by moving things from one farm or place to another, you know, on the back of a cart. They had a horse and cart, and that's what gave them their profession. So it's all about lugging things around and networking. You know, he's the latter-day white van man, and that's what he would be. Hopefully a bit more even-tempered and slightly better choice of music. But yeah, he's a white van man.
Well, he's a classic sort of lusty rural Englishman of a certain sort, and very attractive to fancy, physically and in many other ways, but with very few aspirations himself, and that's the major obstacle for them getting together. So he has to learn as she learns.
Give the boy some wine, Fancy. 'Tis from France. Care of Mr. Schreiner.
A rather fetching drop of Bordeaux, though I say so myself.
I thought the characters sort of really came off the page very well when the first time I read it, and you know, Thomas Hardy, I just knew it would be a good sort of meaty adaptation, and especially with it being on at Christmas. And it's just a great character. I really enjoyed this character. I like sort of men who can't express their emotions, and that's what Shiner is really. He falls deeply in love with the character Keeley Hawes plays, Fancy Day, and yet he can't really express it.
Now, he's a lovely character, I think, sort of nouveau riche farmer. I mean, sort of type we all know very well, who spent so many years getting rich, kind of took his eye off the ball of his romantic life. So he's coming to it late, and he again assumes that money and status will sway Fancy Day.
Mr. Shiner.
You're a fool, Maybold.
I beg your pardon?
An even bigger fool than me, if that can be imagined.
You're drunk, sir. And you're a church warden.
She loves you.
Who loves me?
Miss Fancy Day.
Miss Day.
She loves you, but believes you are above her station. Treat her well, sir, or you will have me to answer to.
I'm playing Parson Maybold. It's my first clergyman in my career. He's come to the village of Mellstock. I think he came about 6 months ago, and he's the vicar of the village. he's quite set apart from the rest of the villagers in that he comes from a different kind of class of person. He's kind of well educated, quite well to do, comes from what you would class, I guess, as a sort of posh family. I think it was tradition in those days that the youngest son of a well-to-do family went into the clergy. So he's come here and he's desperately trying to drag them into the modern world. He does this by bringing a harmonium into the church, which is a kind of pedal-powered organ, air organ, and this sort of starts waves of protest and controversy.
I have appointed Miss Fancy Day as our new schoolmistress. Miss Day's talents will not only be utilized in the classroom, however, to our enormous good fortune and to the glory of God, Miss Day has agreed to play the new harmonium, which is to be installed in the church.
Harmonium? We don't need no harmonium. We've got a choir. What's it mean, Reuben?
Let us pray.
You would say he's quite unemotional. I think he's just, it's not that he's unemotional, he just lacks the kind of vocabulary and the sort of the skills to express himself, to express his passions and his loves.
Well, he's an interesting character, I think, and I'm quite fond of him, actually, the way he's turned out, because he is stuck in this little Dorset village, doesn't really want to be there, and has great dreams of Venice and Rome, and assumes Fancy, rather arrogantly assumes Fancy will come with him when he doffs his cap, and it doesn't quite work out that way.
That's good. Okay, and rehearsal. Action.
It happened at Longpuddle. Some wheezing contraption of noise replacing the choir that had been there for 100 years and more.
He did look at Miss Day in a warmer way than Christianity has.
It's a beguilingly simple script, actually, but the realities of filming it are somewhat different. We have dancing, we have singing, we have 4 seasons. We go from snow, which we're filming in July, through to spring, to summer, to autumn, which is when Dick and Fancy marry under the greenwood tree. We have night filming going into day, and a variety of locations as well, animals too. So all of these things combine to actually make it quite a tough shoot in some respects. A few years ago I came here and we did 2 series of Bergerac here, and I was very familiar with the landscape, and when I was thinking about Under the Greenwood Tree, which is set in Dorset, the first inclination is to go and look at Dorset and see what Hardy wrote. And it's a very different landscape now to what it was then in 1840. The fields are bigger, there are all sorts of crops that are grown now that weren't grown then. And I thought in the back of my mind that the Jersey landscape actually might be rather appropriate. I just happened to hear tell of Hampton Country Life Museum. I saw a picture and something in the back of my mind nagged away, and I felt I had to come out here and look at it, which I did. I brought my designer and director out. We had no idea whether we were going to land at 10 o'clock and be back on another plane at 12 o'clock heading home. But in fact, you know, we stayed because it suddenly offered so much potential.
It's wonderful. I mean, we found 3/4 of our locations in one place. I mean, it's just made my life a lot easier than normal. It's saved on mileage. I've been normally tramping all over the country looking for these places. We come here and here it is. It was marvellous.
We had to come in and turn it into 1840s, bring in all the greenery. We built this behind us here with scaffolding and then clad it all. We brought in a church, which we started from scratch to sort of tie the whole village together. Then we had challenges like putting down snow, painting all the window frames, taking all the modern stuff away, and trying to bring it back to the 1840s.
I'm off to Budmouth to rustle up some new business. No peace for an ambitious man.
Indeed.
So, Sunday is to be your coming out on the harmonium, is it?
It is. I trust that the ill will towards Mr. Maybold and his plans to better the church has receded.
Turkeys won't cheer this Christmas, if that's what you mean. I hope it goes well. I'm only sorry I won't be there.
You won't be in church?
I have to see a man out at Longpuddle way on new business. 'Tis the only dating do.
I thought you cared for me just a little.
You know I do.
I thought you were my friend.
More than a friend, I'd hope.
I shall go into the lion's den on my own. Good day to you, Mr. Dewey.
This is the village of Mellstock that we've created. Behind me here is the coaching inn. Originally this wasn't here, we built it. We've put up some scaffolding. This is sort of the entrance to the village. This is the entrance into Fancy's apartments. That's where a lot of the action goes on between Dick and Fancy and Shiner and Maybold. Bit of a mess at the moment. And over here, this is Parson Maybold's house. This is pretty much like it was before we started filming. We haven't done an awful lot in here apart from the dressing. It's part of the Hampton House Museum.
He was born for mankind's sake. Our sins to bear. Give thanks to God and wait. Hold on, man. Give thanks to God and wait. Most joyfully. Give thanks to God, O wait, upon this blessed day. Let all men sing and say, Holy, holy.
Trying to create that Christmas card image of Christmas Eve with snow and golden lamps spilling their light onto the snow, yeah, it is quite a challenge in the middle of summer. We have a terrific visual effects team who come in and they blow all sorts of finely graded paper around the set and foam, and they blow it into the air so that it falls gently like snow. And to create that illusion of winter in the height of summer is actually a real challenge. It's a challenge for the actors as well because they have to act cold. And it's very labour intensive, it's very time consuming. Every time we go for a take and we reset, we have to relay the snow to make sure it looks as if it's completely fresh and virgin. And yeah, it takes a lot of time to get it right.
We start off with a thing called Taram, which we put down on the floor, and then we've got different grades of paper, so half size.